Now I want to dive into these 10 levels. So the key here is that you're imagining that you're talking with someone, and later on you can assess the level that you're at. And we'll have some conversations about that. But the main tool here is to develop the skill of assessing the level of awareness of the person that you're talking with. And there's no good or bad levels here. Each one of us used to be at level 1 at some point. And you all know that it's a long slog intellectually, emotionally, interpersonally to become more and more aware. And in the beginning, we're all hoping that we're wrong about these conspiracies, but they just keep turning out to be true. And then you start to build a knowledge base. And the key is you're building a knowledge base of not some political ideology, but of what's actually going on in the world. And I don't think there's anything more important to our personal survival or our survival as a species than to understand what's going on in the world. So level 1, something's not right. I'm going to go through these really quickly, and then I'll come back and go through them one at a time. So at level 1, at least someone realizes there's something that's not quite right. Level 2 is, okay, not only is there something not right, but there's actually people in the world who are very corrupt and who are willing to lie, cheat, steal, even kill to get their way. As you get more sophisticated, it's like, okay, there's all of that, and they're motivated by money. It's all about greed. And then you start to get even more sophisticated, realize that the people who are actually in charge of the agendas, they're also in charge of printing money. So for the ones at the top, it's not about the money. The money is a tool for their larger agenda, and that agenda is about control, okay? But to what end, or what do they need to do to get that control? Well, the big level, moving to level 5 was a huge, even when we did Thrive 1, we spent 8 years making that film. And even on our own team, there were only 1 or 2 people by the time we launched on our team who were able to acknowledge that there was an agenda that included conscious depopulation, a truly nefarious and lethal agenda. Level 6 is when people start to realize that agenda isn't haphazard. It isn't just going on in the halls of Congress or the Senate or something like that. It actually takes place in secret societies for reasons of secrecy and then gets dispersed down the pyramid. Once people realize that, oftentimes the next horrific realization is that most of these secret societies are actually death cults. These people are involved in a nefarious agenda because on a personal level, they are so afraid their own suffering is virtually endless. And so they're actually looking for an end. In the meantime, they're looking for an adrenaline rush, because when you are doing horrible things to people, as a sociopath and psychopath, you no longer get pleasure. You can't even access truth and intimacy and love. So you've got to get your daily motivation from just adrenaline rushes. Things like power and perversions of sex and money and control. Level 8, that the end game, and this goes with the death cult aspect, the end game for many of the controllers is transhumanism, which means the death of the human species as we know it. Whether it's super advanced hybrids for a while or not, these people actually want to end humanity and transmit consciousness, transmit the responsibility for the evolution on planet Earth to computers, to robots. And it's so unbelievable to most people that that's one of the ways they can get away with it for decades here. Okay, we'll go to level 9. Now we're getting into the influence of ETs and interdimensionals. After Thrive came out, Kimberly and I were courted by every secret society you can imagine and invited into halls of power that we said no to all the secret societies. Sometimes we would go meet with very powerful individuals in different sectors of society. And the higher up the hierarchy, the pyramid that they were, the more they were talking about extraterrestrials and the influence of interdimensional consciousness. So for them, at least, it's very, very real. Okay, what could be at level 10? And I'm not saying level 10 is the top. One person wrote in and suggested a level 11. So maybe we can talk about that in a little while. But what I'm titling level 10 is that the cosmos is a unified whole unfolding perfectly. So what does that mean to unfold perfectly? That's what we'll get into. It doesn't mean that I prefer the way that it's unfolding. It doesn't mean that it's nice. It doesn't mean that it's not evil. It just means that from a cosmic point of view, the unfolding is happening. Reality simply is. That doesn't mean at all that we can't do, or in fact that we're called to do, and we need to do everything we can to make it as best we can. But that I didn't set out to do top 10 or anything like that. The levels that Kimberly and I delineated broke down into these 10.